Alright, let me see if I can break this down, make it intelligible. At the start here, I wanted to try to push this bomb as it's falling, but I couldn't seem to get anything good. I also really want to keep the camera good here, which requires this jump. If you just try to like run into the position, it gets caught behind this pillar, so that sucks. Um, but yeah, you throw the bomb up in the air with the jump, and then get behind it, and then this entire time that it's going down and back up, we're pushing it, and we just want to push it into position. This is almost all of the pushing of the bomb right there. Or it basically is all of it. Um, have it sit on your head so that it builds speed enough to bounce back onto your head. And then just get under it and jump. And then we land this jump at the pillar and start building speed. So one way to improve this is if we say, let's say that if you draw a line straight down from the bomb, it's right at this intersection between these two lines. If we put the bomb like here, like just moving it a bit closer to the pillar, we wouldn't have to jump as high to have the bomb land on our head afterwards. So that might be one way to save time here, is like when we push the bomb at this point, instead of pushing it in a line like this, we'd push it like a bit more down. So that's closer to the pillar, and then we don't have to push it up in the air as much. Um, Getting it to land on my head here was actually really hard. I think I put it too close to the edge of the ledge. Because like it barely, barely lands here, and I couldn't hold it for very long. It like always would fall off, and then it also often would just fall into the sand without landing on the ledge. So this setup is like close to not working. But yeah, once you get it to this point, and this is the part where like every setup's probably going to be a bit different on how we manage this, but you just want to get it to bounce high enough to be able to land on you again. And then this entire time I'm just like pushing it into the wall, and then the wall's kind of bringing it out, so it basically stays in position. It goes on, well, actually it doesn't actually land on my head in this movie, it just goes above me, and I kind of like do a C shape around and then start like trying to push it that way again. And the whole time you're doing this, you're getting it to like hover in place or like jitter around, and that's letting it build more V speed so it'll bounce back up again. You can see it's just like not falling very fast at all. And then you're just building speed, and you can release it at any point. I released it late here. You definitely could do earlier, because as you can see here, I didn't even use hover frames until I had negative V speed in that jump. So if we released it like 10 frames sooner, we could probably still land here, and I'm sure we'd only lose like less than 10 frames for having a bit less speed. I don't know exactly how much, but I'm sure we can get a 10-second Mystic Melody. I don't know how much time is left to save with part 1 of the setup. Like, you could probably land by like 7:15 or so if you were to optimize pushing the bomb and not throwing it in the air as high. I'm not exactly sure how the speed on the bomb works because we don't have a watch for it, but I think that when it's moving upwards, it actually is building upward speed, which means that like the sooner it reaches the apex, the sooner it'll have enough negative speed to bounce high as we want it to bounce. And technically, if you can rub it against the wall well enough to where it like straight up gets stuck, like see here, it's not even falling at all, it wouldn't even have to bounce that high. Like if it only bounces up to like this height and we just run into the wall and get it stuck, it would make this movement easier, because the trickiest part here was this little like C shape thing that I did. I guess I went past it. The trickiest part here was keeping it in front of me when it had that much height, because I had to like go out from underneath it and then start pushing it forward again. If it didn't go as high, then that would be easier to do. but we just need to make sure that whatever we do, we find some interaction with the bomb that keeps it airborne long enough to bounce back up. That's about it.